So where next then, Frank? What
All right. So the next one, this is Garbo has been requesting it, so I thought I might as well bring it on right in the beginning and not tease him and everyone else. It's the Francesinha. This is pernil de porco, but the pictures that I sent you. Oh, this one.
There we go.
So Francesinha, a little bit of a history on the Francesinha. Gentleman in the 60s, Daniel Silva. Apparently, he was an immigrant going back and forth between France and Portugal. He brought this back. Francesinha literally means a little French girl. And when I was thinking about that little French girl, it'd be the kind of joke you and I would do. Hey, you little French girl, you're back in Portugal. What have you got for me? And this particular sandwich is, I guess, a bit of an adaptation from the French croque monsieur, which literally means Mr. Crunch. That croque monsieur, stop it. That croque monsieur is one thing, but I thought this is more of a croque madame. Because the croque madame has the difference between croque monsieur and croque madame is the croque madame has the fried egg on top, and this one usually has a fried egg on top. The reason why this sandwich is one of the top 10 sandwiches in the world is because of what it's got inside. And if you can show some of the other pictures, I went to this famous cafe in Porto. Yes, this one.
Look at that! Look at that!
This is a mind-blowing sandwich. If you look at this, it's such a sexy sandwich. It's got sausages in it. It's got a steak in it. It's got ham in it. Melted cheese. You've got egg on top. The sauce is made with a little bit of port wine, a little bit of beer, a little bit of tomato sauce, a little bit of piri sauce. This you can't go wrong. No wonder I don't even understand why it's not in the top 5. I want to know what's in the top 5 and how can we get this one in the top 5.
I think it's a couple of things, isn't it? It's snobbery, for one thing, and also typically Portuguese, a well-kept secret. The Portuguese do not boast about their culture in the way that other cultures do. So that's part of the problem.
They don't, and but we are here to do that, right? And
that's exactly what we're doing. Yes.
We will shout out loud and proud from the ceilings, saying this is a spectacular sandwich. This needs to be right up there. Funny enough, another hidden fact about this one, this used to be a mild afternoon snack, by the way.
Look at these comments, Frank. This is fantastic.
Yes.
Leslie's got a recommendation. We're always up for those, Leslie. So a little place in Matosinhos, which would be pretty much the capital, I think, of where we're talking about, of this kind of food and the Francesinha. And of course, you haven't mentioned your name. I mean, we could do the Frank-esinha when it comes to you cooking publicly. I'm really looking forward to your version of this, which you probably won't, stray too much away from the original.
But there's no way. Well, how can you go wrong with this? You've got everything that you need in a balanced meal is within a sandwich. So you've got a steak, you've got ham, you've got sausages, you've got cheese, you've got beer, you've got tomato sauce. Yeah, how can you go wrong with this?
It's not balanced. There's nothing green to be seen.
Exactly, that's why it's balanced. This is the most. I'm going to get shot by vegans and vegetarians, but I'll tell you, it's caldo verde. That's why I put caldo verde first, because you can have a little bit of the kale and the green and whatever, with a little bit of chorizo taste and whatever, and then you dive straight into this one, and this will make your day. When I had it at Café Santiago, which is meant to be a place where this one is done. You sit down, and what I really liked about the idea is that you sit right at the bar kind of area the guy brings the Francesinha and he makes like an entire effort, like he dresses it up nicely right in front of you, and I'm just like, man, just put it over here. I'm going crazy over here.
Yeah.
And he said to me that you just eat this with cold beer. I'm like, complete meal. Bing, bing, bong, bong. This is it.
Okay, we're driving everybody crazy as usual on a Monday morning, and you'll wish you'd eaten if you hadn't. Just going back to the soup briefly. Actually, it was Lenny Cash's favourite soup. So good morning to you, Lenny. Bon dia, everyone from Terence as well. Good morning to you, Terence. And then Andy says Leona makes a spicy Caribbean version of the caldo verde. They call it Saturday soup, which is another sort of hark back possibly to, going through the refrigerator on a Saturday morning before you go to the market, maybe, I don't know, and using all the things that you haven't used so far that week in the soup. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the thought behind that.
Anything green that's been sitting in the back of the fridge that has become kind of delinquent, you bring it up front, you throw it in the pot, and you say, hey, I drank or I ate something green today.
Do you talk to your food? Because I'm thinking, I'm seeing you in my mind's eye there, going to the back of the fridge and bringing all the delinquents out and say, baby, this is your time to shine. You're going in the Saturday soup.
Absolutely. Or I'm just like, where are you, darling? I've been ignoring you. Where are you? And I'll look in the back, and there's always something green. I like peppers, but there's always something green. If it's like a parsley and whatever, that the parsley which has been ignored, and the parsley is saying, Frank, I'm here. Please cook me. And I'm just like, yes, parsley. We're gonna have fun with you today. And then cilantro and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, in the film, when we make the movie, the food will be talking to Frank. Pick me for your caldo verde. So good morning, both. Getting hungry just looking at the soup, and comfort food soup is amazing in Portugal, part of life for all families and for singles. Yeah, thanks, Jacqueline. Good morning to you, Donna Jacqueline. It's wonderful, but basically a heart attack on a plate. What do you mean, Carolyn? Let's just give you another view of it. What I like is the how it's draped in cheese as well. It's like a cheese curtain. Garvo's got started as well over there in Alvagra. Drool! It is a Homer Simpson's kind of thing on a plate as well, isn't it? Paul and Louise saying the same. Francesinha is a heart attack on a plate. Bon dia from Joel, who I'm sure will have more to say about the Francesinha. He lives right there in the territory. Obviously, Antonio knows what we're talking about here. Francesinha there. It's the sauce that makes the difference. Now, that could be another idea for your branded products that come out. Frank, a picture of you on the, like Paul Newman's dressing. Frank's, sauces. It's a sauce that makes the difference, and a picture of you, shaking your sauce, as it were, on the front there. It's a proper way to die of a heart attack. Says
well said, Joel. I usually don't agree with Joel most of the time, but on this one, this is the kind of heart attack you want, don't you, Joel? No, I'm not praising a heart attack. I'm just saying this is a wonderful meal.
Got a bit carried away with that, haven't we? Only joking, everybody. Pretty sure my blood pressure and cholesterol levels went up 10% just by looking at that. That is what can happen, apparently, according to the Portuguese health authorities. OMG, that sandwich, says Penny. We're creating excitement about a sandwich all over the world. It's fantastic. Leslie's got her recommendation there. Portuguese don't need, we don't need to prove. We prove by what we do. Says Yo, it's true, isn't it? And this is what we're finding out. You're making me hungry, says Pam. Hank is saying to Antonio, I must have it. I must have it. Give me that Francesinha now. And we've had somebody trying it on Terceira. Oh, Jersey's the best sandwich ever. Agreed, says Jersey. Tried it on Terceira Island. Out of this world, says Jersey. That's why you have caldo verde first. Okay, going back to there's nothing green on that plate, not even a sprig of parsley for garnish. Caldo verde first, get that out the way, then into the front, then not back up the truck, but drive in the truck to eat the Francesinha. Does the flour?
As I say, do your green medication first. Take your pain first, and then the pleasure comes right after, which is the sandwich.
All in the book, all in the forthcoming book, all this nutritional advice. Does the flour in the bread count as a vegetable, maybe? We'll go with that this morning. Thanks, Hank. Looks lovely, but I don't eat beef or pork. I mainly eat seafood or chicken, duck or turkey. It looks very delicious. And now it is Gemini. And should we bring up the controversial matter of turning this into a vegan, vegetarian, or cod botherer, like a pescatarian version? Should this be messed about with in that way, Frank?
I have heard of a vegan vegetarian version of this. And if a vegan vegetarian version comes up of this, I don't want to be seen around it because I'm kind of afraid that my Portuguese friends will pick up a stick and start beating me and just kick me out. I will. I think those are grounds to get deported in this country if you mess with the Francesinha.
I think you might be right there. It's a bit like, in England, if you go through a speed camera, or you used to get a photograph of yourself going through a speed camera. Now in Portugal, if you're seen eating a vegan francesinha, you also get a photo, don't you? Take this as a take this as a warning. But we saw you on CCTV, and also the donners around town will also know and be talking to each other about you, won't they? From balcony to balcony.
The CCTV cameras, first of all, will all be looking at you. And if you got this sandwich anywhere around you, they'll pick it up. And next time they'll come by, they'll give you a nice whack in the back of your head and say, "That's what you get, boy, for messing with my food."
Never again. Okay. Yes, only do that messing about at home or in fancy Lisbon. The only district one is allowed to eat is in Porto district. Everywhere else. See, there we go. There's an even sort of tougher sanction there. You're not even meant to eat this anywhere outside the Porto district.
No, this is so precious to the district. Whenever you go around, you talk to anyone local. Funny enough, when we were there, I think it was Superboc. There was some kind of festival, and I was talking to some people, and they said exactly what Joel just said. Is this sandwich is meant to be eaten over here? It's the sauce that makes the difference. And the other thing being, if you eat it in Lisboa and whatever, this is the only answer you get. You're gonna eat it in Lisboa? This is,
I'm dying here, says Louise. We've only talked about one thing so far, but this bad boy, as we could call it, or bad girl, as the Francesinha, as his name would have it, does deserve all this praise, I think. And who is it? It's Lenny saying, I guess the beer would or could be vegan, of course.
Thank you. Thanks for the assist there, Lenny. We really appreciate it. Yes, that's the vegan option.
Okay, so what would your pairing suggestion be? Because you could go with a sort of hearty red wine with this, or should it really be drunk with a stouty sort of beer?
No, this one is with regular ale. This one would go amazing with it. If you want to go a little bit hotty toddy with this one, maybe go with a white wine. I don't know, actually not white wine. Maybe a nice boxed red would be nice with this one. But other than that, I wouldn't mess with it. I would just drink a nice cold beer with this and just make love to this sandwich. This is a beautiful sandwich.
Which is actually, I should point out, is probably against the law in a public place. It doesn't mean that literally, anybody. That's not a serving suggestion that I would put my name behind. I guess
love to sandwiches.
that's breakfast right there. This is John in France saying this, and I think it has knocked the croque monsieur, Mr. Crunch, as I think he called it. That made me giggle. This has knocked Mr. Crunch into a cocked hat. I mean, seriously, just cheese and ham in a sandwich. That's so basic and unsophisticated, isn't it, for the French? When you could have something like this.
Yeah, but the thing is, the French get away with it because they call it croque monsieur. You know, like it's got the thing. Most Americans or even Canadians are guilty of it. Maybe people from the UK as well. When they go to a French place, they'll be like, "Oh, croque monsieur, let me order that." And you're like, until somebody comes up to them and you go, "Hey, it's a ham and cheese sandwich." They're like, "What do you mean?" And you're like, "Wait for a few minutes. It's gonna come to your table. And you're gonna have fun with it."
Yeah, because we do that anyway here, don't we? If I use the royal we, the tosh de mista is just every day. I mean, you could have a tosh de mista as a starter before this, and then you've done your cheese and ham sandwich. Take that, France. Hank's Delica, or the animal where the meat comes from, ate some kind of greens, right? We'll count that. Okay, Hank's going with that. And like Leslie's saying here, I'm sure they have veggie. I have seen them actually, and we utterly support vegan and vegetarian buddies here. It's just not somewhere where Frank goes often himself, I think it's fair to say. And we go to that Francesinha place, says Peter, at the back of the camera in Matosinhos for work dues, Francesinha and chips. We shouldn't forget that this comes with chips as well, as you can see on the table there. That's for soaking up all the gravy afterwards, right?
Oh, that's it. As soon as you open the sandwich up, the gravy is like right underneath. You've got all the fries around. So and you know what the best thing about this? It's the dilemma. What do I go with first? And my thing is go with everything. Like in one bite, have a little bit of francesinha, have a little bit of the fries, dip it in the gravy, and eat it, and just look up and say, "Wow, what a wonderful day."
Yeah, and we should. I mean, just to be serious for a moment, don't put too much salt on it to make it unhealthy. It would be one bit of advice. So, okay, so
That's your health advice. I love that.
not too much salt. That's too much as a breakfast, Antonio. Although it does look like quite a good hangover breakfast, as you know, a kind of the Brit hangover thing is the fry up, isn't it? I mean, this is a worthy contender in that department. Definitely a dinner dish, says Joel. So he's not recommending it for breakfast. Hope the film is animated, says Leslie. We're talking to Hollywood. Well, we're not yet. In our minds, we're talking to Hollywood or Netflix. But I think this should lift off the page, lift off Facebook and YouTube into full-on Netflix. I mean, if Meghan and Harry can do it, I don't see why me and Frank shouldn't. You know, we're an equally adorable couple, aren't we, as Harry and Meghan? Frank talking sex to his food. You ultimately, yeah. This is the animated version. Will feature Frank talking sexily to the food in the fridge. Who doesn't want to watch that? At least you die full and happy, says Gary. Yeah, and people will be saying yes is what he would have wanted. Well, he's still got Francesinha sauce dripping down his face. I wouldn't mind dying during my sleep after eating, says Joel. We're really upbeat this morning, everybody. Hope you enjoyed Tercera, says Antonio to Jersey. Gianni, it'll be great when served. It would be great when served a little Francesinha. So is that a mini version of it? Carl's right. There is a proper way to die from a heart attack. One is from sex. The other is from that sandwich. Or both. Yeah. Ultimately, but there's a third way, which is it involves both. Francesinha de Baija in Porto do a vegan version. There you go. And I would. I mean, don't tell anyone, but I would give that a go. Lol, says Gemini. Lord have mercy. At 5 in the morning in Atlanta, Georgia, with Victoria looking at that. Lol, there's lolling all over the place, all over the world. Festival de Cerveja. I wonder what that means. It should be drunk at a beer festival, maybe. Is the
beer festival I think he's referring to that I went to.
All right. So before we move on, Frank, tell us a little bit more about the sauce.
The sauce is a beer, pureed tomatoes, and I've seen some of them at port wine too, and definitely piri piri. This the sauce when it was used to this dish used to be an afternoon snack. It used to be a bit spicier apparently, so they've brought the spice level down. I can imagine.
Oh really? Okay, so no wine. No wine. We're getting a knockback from there, pushback from the true Portuguese as well. It's only beer to go along with and Superbock. Other beers are crap, he says.
You're right.
Potty mouth, Joel, this early in the morning, but not a fan of the Sagres there. Just add gravy and you've got a Portuguese poutine or poutine. What's that?
No, don't do that. I'm Canadian. I'll tell you one thing. Quebecois have poutine. Poutine is cheese curds, gravy, and whatever. It's a proper mess. This is proper. This is like eating. As a Canadian, I can tell you, I take this before a poutine.
Okay, there you go. Seitan and red pepper, vegan Francesinha. Tofu and mushroom vegetarian Francesinha, made by Portuguese.
I love you, Victoria.
It's a staunch defense of the vegan and vegetarian Francesinha this morning. Yes, Victoria, but there is a gravy type sauce as well. Talking more about the poutine. Vinho Verde, maybe. Leslie, Joel would not be happy about that. La Bon Dia, I do it. Still in the Cotswolds. Love Frank's echo sound effects. Maybe we can all chip in and buy him a microphone. Yes, let's go straight to the crowdfunder.
All up for it, Jeff. Donations, bring it on.
Yep, okay. The crowdfunder for Frank's mic. Well, it looks like good oral skills. Oh, stop it. It's because it's just nighttime for you. It's not for us, Hank. Foodie file, Frank. Paul's here as well. Good morning, Paul. Giving me heartburn and regret just looking at it. Lol. I think Paul was a fan. Proper chip shop chips there as well, I think. Yeah. What do you make of Portuguese chips, Frank? Because chips vary around the world, don't they? That's not a French fry, is it? Let's face it.
It's not a French fry. The one thing about the chips over here is usually what they do in, I think they do this in the UK. Obviously, in France, they do a double fry, so they'll like basically fry it once and then they'll fry it again for it to be very nice and creamy inside and from the outside, kind of crispy. Over here, it's just fried once and then they bring it out. That's the main difference that I've seen in a lot of the fries. They're still very beautiful. I wouldn't say no to it at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning after I've had a few beers.
Yes, and this is what Fiona reckons. Died doing what they loved. The couple who went out with. Well, you know what that's referring to, but that would be on their tombstone. And Maxine, this sounds like a character from the Austin Powers movies, doesn't it? Yeah, baby, Francesinha Assassina got me. He's on my tail. So that's a great little combo there. The Francesinha Assassina, another killer, says Maxine. Good morning to you. And yeah, Victor, I think, is winding you up. Early doors in Atlanta, Georgia there. Love you guys, says Hank. We love you too. And nothing wrong with poutine. A staunch defense of the poutine, but I guess it's all relative here. Best chips are Belgian, triple fried. Just add mayo for the time being.
You're right, Penny. You are very right.
Is it time to move on from the Francesinha? I think we've done it justice.